Raise your hand if you are tired of Jeopardy and Kahoot for reviews. Hi, teacher friends. Welcome to Sutton Teaches Secondary. I am Miss Sutton, but you can call me Marquita. Welcome. So here we talk all things teacher life. We talk about teacher tips, teacher life. I'm a mama, so I'm talking a little bit about being a teacher and a mama. We do classroom vlogs, all the things. So welcome if you are new. Welcome if you are not new. Hey, teacher friend, it's good to see you again. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. You do not want to miss out. I've got lots of content coming. I'm trying to get back to weekly. And then the summer will be here, and we're going to do some classroom switching around and all that good stuff. So yeah, you don't want to miss out. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and let's talk about it. Okay. So here's the thing. I teach English, and I teach 12th grade English. Most of my classes are AP literature, English literature. So I am not really a subject where you need to do Jeopardy and Kahoot type reviews. Even before that, when I was teaching lower level English, like English 9, that kind of stuff. And we did need to do a little more of that kind of review. It just wasn't my jam. And the thing is, I love watching Jeopardy. Like literally my family, we watch it every night, even the baby. So I'm trying to figure out why I don't like it. I think I just don't like making the clues. I don't like that it just I always feel like with those kind of things, those kind of review games, there are students who completely check out. And it's just never been my thing. It's not my jam. Sometimes you just got to admit that some just ain't for you. And doing Jeopardy in the classroom, it just ain't for me. But this year, as I've previously mentioned, I am teaching African American Studies as well. And so that course, as the students reviewed for the AP exam, that course is not just analyzing literature. We actually had concepts and people and places and times and things and all kinds of stuff that needed to actually be reviewed in kind of a traditional review sense. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out what to do. So that wasn't Jeopardy. After some other test prep stuff we did, I came up with something that I really love, and I want to share it with you. So I do not know what to call it yet, but I guess it's just like a concept sort. But literally, I sat down one day and I made flashcards for every thing, concept, person, anything that was connected to what we learned in the course, like rooted to the tutor, getting the end. That's why it's a big old giant stack of flashcards. And honestly, this is probably not even all that I could include, but in the time period that I gave myself to sit down and write these, that's what I did. Then, and these were very quick, so in the future I will have printed copies and such. But then I made cards, bigger paper cards for each of the units that we did. We only did 4 units. That is how the course is split up. It's split up into 4 units. And then I proceeded to organize the time where students had a chance to sort. And let me tell you kind of how I set it up. So first, we always have a writing into the day. I gave students this writing into the day. I had them do a brain dump. Write down everything you remember about the course, names, and I prompted them. I told them if it's a name, if it's a concept, if it's a time period, if it's something anything that you remember we learned, write it down. I played a nice long jazz song. Oh, did I play jazz? I might have played some Beyonce, not gonna lie. I played something that was a nice long song. And I gave them that time to just brain dump. I told them all the units, all the stuff, all the random things you remember, write it down. And we spent some time afterwards talking about those. I told them full transparency. I did the same thing you did. I just did mine a little longer, and I made flashcards for all of mine. So as you're sharing, if there's something that I don't have on my flashcard, I'm adding it, which actually was very helpful because there might have been things little things that we talked about in discussion or that may have came up in a lecture that I didn't remember, but they totally remembered. So I added them. And then I told them, I said, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes Each of you will get a stack of flashcards, and I have 4 stations set up, and I put the 4 units down, and I told them you can work independently or independently sort out your flashcards among. And then I said, and then work with your neighbor to make sure all your flashcards are in the correct spot. So literally what happened was students got up and they started putting their flashcards with the units that they belong to. I love this one because they get to get up, because I love when students are moving, it gets their juices going, their brain pumping, that kind of stuff. 2, giving them the time to not only work independently, but then with their neighbor, got them to have discussion. And I'll try to link some of that in, I can't show their faces, so it'll be kind of looking at their feet.
I don't know, I think you're right though.
Okay. Okay, I know look, okay, this is, can you check the calendar? Okay. 18:30. Oh, so you what's the African American? A writer. One, right? Wouldn't that be 3? So that'd be 2.
And then afterwards, you have these 4 nicely sorted groups where students can visually see like this chunk in time or this section and concept, and then all of the things that go along with that concept. And I'm like, this would be so great for all kinds of subjects, right? Like science, it could be either the units, it could be concepts the students are learning and all the pieces that go with the concepts. History, obviously this would work perfectly. You could do time periods, you could do major themes like renaissances, revolutions, laws, right? Like it runs the gamut. Even with English, it could be like figurative language, sound devices, it could go on and on and on. There's plenty of ways to make this happen for whatever you teach. And then once we got everything sorted, I had students take another look, walk around, and make sure that they were like happy with where everything was. And at that point, all students are up, all students are looking around and checking the units. And if you feel like, and my class is small, which is why I gave a little more freedom, but if you have a bigger class, you can assign each class a specific, or assign a set of students each unit or each section to investigate. And then as students are doing that, I was also walking around doing like a double check of saying like, that one doesn't belong there. And then they're like, well, where does it go? And I'm like, you guys discuss and find out, right? Which also spurred the conversation. So I liked it because they're able to see they're seeing the stuff, they're seeing the concepts, the people, all those things, but they're also talking to each other and reasoning and figuring it out. And some of that meant they had to go back to their notes and check out like, who was this? What was that about? Some of it meant that they were like talking to each other. Sometimes they asked me, I might have given a few hints, although I tried my best not to. And then at the end, which I didn't tell students to do, but then it was like beautiful, they were like, oh, I'm gonna use this to study. And so then they got up and they were actually like taking pictures of each of the units so that they knew like, these are the concepts I need to go back and review. Chef's kiss. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then after I did it, because I really had no real expectation, it was kind of like, sometimes you gotta throw spaghetti against the wall and see what happens. After I did it, I was like, oh, ways to extend this. So if this had happened earlier for me before our big exam, I would have assigned groups to each unit and had them work on doing the back of the flashcards for each of those units. So once everything was sorted and I approved the sort, then it'd be, okay, this group, you guys get unit 1. Take all of those flashcards, look through your notes, do your research, and put information on the back of all those flashcards. And you could ring them up and you have, like, put them on a ring or rubber band, whatever. But you have flashcards created as a class that are sorted by unit. And then when you have downtime, because for some subjects, when there's a little bit of downtime towards the end of the day, it's like, okay, a time to study. That's when you can teach students how to use flashcards to study. I love it. You could have students put all of the information on the flashcards first. You could have students make the flashcards and then do the sort. Like, there's lots of ways that this could happen. The last thing that we did, I went around and randomly picked up flashcards and then said, tell me about this. So it'd be like, oh, let me go to unit 1, Mansa Musa, let's talk about him. And then students were literally like, this is what he did, this is blah, 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 blah. And I told them, I said, well, as we're discussing, if there's something that you don't remember, this is your chance to write notes. And so that's also the other aspect that you could have too, right? Like, they could have a note capturing sheet, and when you actually start the discussion piece where you're picking up random flashcards and the class is discussing and sharing what they remember about the concept, students are noting down things as reminders to then help with having something physical that they could study in front of them. So I loved it. I am very excited about it. There are many ways to make it work. Tell me if you do something similar or if there's a way you can make it work. If you love doing Jeopardy, tell me how you do it. Woo me. Try to get me to come on over. But yeah, I'm excited about it. And I know it's this time of year where we're getting ready for testing and all that good stuff. So have fun with it. And teacher friend, if you've made it this far, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button because we're teacher friends now. Hello. And as always, you are amazing. Bye.